Hi guys, my name is Andy, and in today's session, I want to share how easy it is to create and publish a VSCode extension. If you're new to extension development like I was, check out the video from Robert Green and Hassan Savran. After watching it, I thought, let's give it a try and see if it's really that simple. But first, I'll give you some context. Since 2022, I've been using GPT for various code-related tasks, such as refactoring or discussing features and bugs. Back then, I created a simple VS Code extension that I frequently use. A week ago, I encountered a bug in my Create File and Folder helper, so I thought, let's get our hands dirty and start this user story. Unfortunately, 2 months ago, my MacBook crashed, and instead of searching and recovering the project, I wanted to see what's new in the Yeoman code scaffold in 2024. So I looked into the .VSCode extension folder, and there was my old extension, Undefined Publisher, Code to Chunks version 0.9.4. We have our extension.js file where the two commands are registered. There's also a shell script that I used before the extension, which was a good starting point back then. The old chunks1 text file shows my custom instruction before OpenAI implemented this feature. The folder structure text file shows the .git folder with its content, which is incorrect and needs fixing. If you want to create your own VS Code extension, it's really not complicated. Just follow the instructions on the VSCode API webpage on how to develop your first extension. You install the Yeoman code generator, use the command yocode, and answer a couple of setup steps. I wish the step initialize a Git repository would also create the initial Git commit, but after we open up our scaffold and do this ourselves, we are ready. Hit F5 and you're good to go and start coding. This is where I am coming from. The Andy AI Helpers folder is my current version 1.0.0. I removed some folders and files that are not needed when I want to compare it with the default YoCode app. As you can see, there is not much difference. The .jtignore with some project-specific files, my standard docs folder, the changelog, the package.json, where a lot of magic happens, and the extension's TypeScript file. The launch.json and settings.json have only formatting differences. I use the MIT license, and the changes in the packagelog.json are not worth looking at. What's left are the two commands I register in the extension's TypeScript file. In the fresh YoCode template, the registered command just displays an information message. For me, this is the first place where I check for errors and include my commands/helpers. Now let's take a look at what the extension is doing. We looked at the extension TypeScript file where our commands are registered. They have their corresponding entries in our package.json. Since we want to select files and folders and use the right click to open the menu and select our command. Below line 76, there are no changes to the default. So let's take a look at what we have. Configuration is a nice one. I added 5 settings. Spoiler alert, your property schema names will be the settings order. If we take a look at the include token info setting, this setting checks if the calculated number of tokens should be displayed. Easy, right? So let's head back to the package.json. The publisher in line 6 fixes the undefined publisher. The icon I used is a 512 pixel one. Later, if you want to publish your extension to the marketplace, you need a 128 by 128 pixel icon. Repository, bugs, homepage, and license should show up when the extension is published. If you choose to use your extension just for yourself with your .vsix file, you don't need them. And that's all that is needed. So let's hit F5, or in our case, restart and see how this extension actually works. These are the settings. The checkbox checked is from debugging. The default is false. I think most people won't need it. The token estimation factor of 4.5 worked for me with GPT 3.5 for most cases, and the 4.096 token limitation. I remember that I had an implementation of a JavaScript library that was counting tokens more precisely. But when I compared it with the results of the Python script, I decided, good enough. It's just an estimation, right? Let's take a look at how the extension looks in the overview. There is the README with all the different sections. Features, screenshots for each helper and for the settings, how to use it, and so on. In the Features tab of the overview, we find the runtime status, which I hope will be active after I publish and install it from the marketplace. Fingers crossed, the commands, settings, and changelog. Nice, this looks awesome. I'm slowly getting impatient to show you the extension in action. Press Command-Shift-P to open the command palette and type generate or use the recently used command. For the app root directory, we use /. For the app folder, it would be /app/. There it is, our show information message and our text file with the file and folder structure. I like this so much. Now let's test the chunks to files helper. I select the app and components folder, right-click, and there it is, our command. Hit it, and we are done. The chunks1 text file is created. We have the token information and all files in our chunk. Awesome! This is so much fun. So what are the next steps? First, we go back to our project. We are done with development and we actually want to install our extension. With the commands npm run compile and VSE package, the needed .vsx file will be created in our root directory. Use Shift-Command-X to go to the VSCode extensions and click the three little dots to open the menu with the Install from VSIX command. Locate your .vsix file, and that's it. Just reload and we are done. We are ready to think about publishing. We use the VSCode API webpage again, which guides us through the necessary steps. After filling out various forms, I got my personal access token and logged into VSE. So the only thing left, VSE publish, which in my case returns the information that in a few minutes, the extension will be available in the marketplace. A few minutes are gone. Let's check again. Drumroll, we are live. Let's scroll the README. This looks awesome and wasn't that complicated, right? So with this knowledge, you can start developing your own ideas for any kind of extension. And there are a lot of people publishing extensions. In the beginning of this video, I am scrolling in the Extensions tab where AI was the keyword. Oh boy, there are so many alone in this category. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this session and give this extension a try. Disclaimer, this extension is developed and tested on macOS, so I'm not sure if it works seamlessly on Windows or Linux. Feel free to submit a pull request if you encounter any issues or have improvements to suggest. Known issues. Don't use the chunks to files helper for thousands of files, like those in Node modules. Greetings from Hamburg. Andy.